Good morning. Hi, I'm Amy Dalrymple. I'm a member of this congregation and also the chair of the Worship Associates at the Unitarian Universalist Area Church at First Parish in Sherburne. Welcome to this loving community. Come in bringing all of who you are. Bring your wounds and aching hearts, your pain too numb to feel. There are healing waters here to ease your troubles. Let go of the expectations placed on you by others and those you have placed on you yourself. May you touch hands with those you love. May you experience awe, love, and humility here. May you see something of beauty and feel a sense of wonder. May you know that each of us contributes to the beauty of the whole. Bring all that you are and all that you love to this hour together. Welcome.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Heather Concannon. I'm one of the ministers here at UUAC Sherborne, and I want to extend a special welcome this morning to all of those who are visiting with us for the first time. Welcome, welcome. We're so glad to have you. I also want to welcome those who are joining us online. We've got a camera right in their back, so if you are online, we bid you a special welcome this morning. Thanks for waving hello, everybody. I want to share just a few things about our sanctuary space. So up here we've got our prayer table. So if you would like to submit a written prayer for us to read during our prayer time, a joy or a sorrow or a gratitude, you can put that up here in our written prayer candles. And you can also light a candle silently if you'd like. We're going to ask you to greet your neighbors in a few minutes. We invite you to use consent to see how people would like to be greeted. Ask people if they'd like a hug or a handshake, especially in these COVID times, but always we encourage that. If you would like to sign up to bring flowers or ring the bell or light our chalice in an upcoming week, we've got our sign-ups right up here. You can do that after the service. And a few other things coming up. And we've also got a family area back in the back corner, and children are welcome to stay and worship for the whole service. Today is also our first day of faith formation classes for children 3 through 6th grade. So we will be singing our children out about 15 minutes from now after our Wonder Box. And even if you're brand new, your children are most welcome to go to classes. Because it's our first day, we're going to be doing a lot of introductions. We'll be doing a lot of orientation. And I'll be dismissing the classes one by one so your kids can go with their age group and know exactly where to go. All right, a few other things. Today in coffee hour, we are going to have some light refreshments and also a ice cream sundae bar. So please join us after worship for our ice cream sundae bar and our coffee hour. It'll be downstairs through these doors and downstairs. And falafel. There is also a plate of falafel as well.
We're bribing them.
We are bribing you. Today at noon, there is also a listening session. We're talking about redesigning this pulpit area to make it more accessible. And we're talking about the different ways that we might do that as a congregation. So if you would like to participate in that conversation, today at noon here in the sanctuary, we'll be talking with the board and the redesign team about how that might look, any factors or input that you want to have into that process. So come today at noon. There is also an online session next Sunday, October 2nd at 7 p.m. on Zoom. So today at noon and next Sunday at 7 p.m. online are two opportunities to give input at this point in the process about redesigning this pulpit area. Finally, we have a newcomer welcome session after church on October 16th. So if you are a newcomer, if you're new today, if you've been coming for a few weeks, if you want to learn more about our congregation and meet other folks who are newer to the congregation, join us right after worship on October 16th and check out our weekly email for more details. I think that's all I have for announcements. It's so good to see all of you. Thank you so much for joining this morning, and I invite you to greet one another and welcome one another into this space.
I'm going to go after Sarah.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Good morning. My name is Nora Kempner. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a member of the worship committee and also of senior youth group. Our opening words today are from Choose to Bless the World by Rebecca Parker. In the midst of a world marked by tragedy and beauty, there must be those who bear witness against unnecessary destruction. There must be those who speak honestly and do not avoid seeing what must be seen of sorrow and outrage or tenderness and wonder. There must be those whose exuberance rises with lovely energy that articulates Earth's joys. There must be those who gather with the congregation of remembrance and compassion, draw water from old wells, and walk the simple path of love for neighbor. There must be communities of people who seek to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with God, who call on the strength of soul force to heal, transform, and bless life. There must be religious witnesses.
Good morning, everybody. I'm honored to invite us to rise and embody your spirit and join in singing, especially if you think you don't sing, you're not a singer, or you don't want to sing. We want to hear your voices as we sing together, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. And I think, Sarah, you're going to have us do it in rounds, yeah? So you'll tell us?
Yeah, I'll tell you the plan.
Okay.
So I'm saying it's an extra invitation to you this morning to sing out, if you don't usually, because you have two pianists who are not usually pianists, and we're doing our very best. So, so you do yours too. All right, so this hymn, we've done a lot, but there's a part of the poem that was left out when they wrote this hymn in our hymnal, that version of it, which is the very top line you see here, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, which people like so much that they've then put back into it. So, and that part goes, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows 1,000. Right, and it can repeat forever throughout the entire hymn if you so desire. And I hope some of you do. It's nice to hear it. What we'll do, we'll all sing that line twice, and then we'll go on into the rest of the hymn. Sure. Though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows. Here we go. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are. Come, come, whoever you are. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again come.
Wonderful, everyone. And let us remain standing as Haley Warby comes forward to light our chalice, and we say together our affirmation, both of our expressions of our life and our faith here in this community. Amazing. Let us say together, love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. Please be seated.
All right. So I would like to invite any young people who would like to come forward to hear our Wonder Box to come up. And our Wonder Box, for those who have never seen it before, is right here. And inside the Wonder Box, we have something, a mystery item that I will use, or items that I will use to help tell a story or explain an idea. So if you'd like to see this Wonder Box more closely, come on forward. You don't have to be in religious education to do that. You can be 50. Nathan's up here.
But I don't look 50, right?
For those who don't know, Nathan made a very big deal about turning 50 last year. All right, welcome. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. Welcome to our new folks, and so good to see those of you who I've met before. I'm going to open our Wonder Box today because there's a lot of things in it. And I'm thinking a lot about our church home, and this morning's Wonder Box is actually not only about our church home, but about the home that Unitarian Universalism builds with our ideas. And this idea comes from Rebecca Parker, who actually wrote our opening words this morning, and she talks about a theological house. And a theological is a big word for ideas that help us make meaning. So in our Wonder Box this morning, I have a couple of things, and we're going to build a house with the things in here. You want to put it up here, Nathan, or do you want to hold it? You got it. Great. Are you just going to hold it? Yeah. Okay. All right, so first we have some red felt that's going to make the foundation of our house. And it's red because this story comes from our Spirit Play curriculum, which is the curriculum that our preschoolers through first graders do. And red in the Spirit Play curriculum is the first promise, the red promise. So in our church, we talk about different principles we make, which is a different way to say the promises that we make about how we want to be in the world and how we want to treat each other. And the first promise that we make as Unitarian Universalists is that every person is special and important. Or we say we value the inherent worth and dignity of every person. So that's the foundation of our house. And then we have some walls. And these walls are rainbows. Oh, don't drop it on me. For the other promises that we make, the rainbow promises that help us to make agreements with each other, it helps us to hold our community together. So the walls are our rainbow promises that help to hold our community together. And then we have, oh, this is so tall. There we go. It's true, I did tell you to hold it up. Then we have our roof. And this gold roof is what helps to finish holding it all together. And this roof shows us that there's room for everyone under the roof. And also, it's gold because it represents the spirit of love and mystery that some people call God. And it also represents the interconnectedness of all of us. So does this kind of look like a house now? It's not quite finished, is it? No. Yeah, it needs some more things. It doesn't have anything in it, you're right. All right, so I have a little door. I hope it sticks. It's a very sticky corkboard, but it's not that sticky. And some windows showing that our church house is open to everybody and that we are interested in what's happening out in the world. We look beyond our windows, and also that we open the doors and the windows to new people and new ideas all the time. And then we have some people. You think they should go in the house? What if they're in the house and around the house? Right? Not everybody comes to our church, but they're still important, and they still are people that we make promises to. I really like how appreciated my people are. They are floating, and they're dancing. And these people are here because we promise to work together to make the world a better, kinder, and more beautiful place for everybody. And here's some bushes, some trees. Gage planted these. Thank you, Gage. Thank you. And these show that we care about our earth and that we are called to build what people call heaven on earth. That we are called to make this earth and this world as kind and loving and beautiful of a place as we can make it. So I wonder if you've heard anything like this before. And I wonder if this house is similar or different from your house. And I wonder which part of this house you like best. So as we think about these wondering questions and about all of the ways that our house gets built and all of the ideas that help us build our house, I'm going to invite us to our faith formation classes. So the way that we're going to do this today is I'm going to have kids leave one at a time. Usually we sing as all of the kids leave at once, but because today is the first day, I'm going to have you leave with your teachers so that your grown-ups can see who the teachers are, and also so that you can follow your grown-ups to the class. One thing that's different about this year is that all of our faith formation classes are going to run until 11:45, regardless of when worship gets out. So if you are if you are in preschool through first grade, your class, and you've never been here before, your class is right over here, and you're going to have your grown-ups pick you up. So if you are the grown-up of a preschooler through first grader, you need to pick up your kid at the classroom, and second grade and up is released after classes are done, and we'll meet in coffee hour this morning. So 11:45 is pickup time, and we will remind you of this in going forward. So I'm going to have preschoolers. So Julia and Katie are our preschool teachers. So if you are in preschool, kindergarten, or first grade, please follow Julia and Katie. Yes. And this year we have 6 teachers I want to say thank you to. So Julia, Katie, Jenny, Jim, Gary, and today Megan. A huge thank you to our teachers for teaching this semester. So preschoolers and first graders through first graders are going with Katie and Julia. Jim and Jenny, if you're in second or third grade, Jim and Jenny are your teachers this semester. And if you're in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, you're going to follow Gary and Megan. Miranda is our regular teacher, but Megan is helping us out today. Follow them to the FOS room. Thank you all so much, and let's sing as the kids let's finally sing as the kids leave. Cool.
So one of the programs that Reverend Heather and our church runs is called Coming of Age, and it's when our young ones work all year and they develop, sort of at the end as part of the work, a credo. You might have heard the word creed, it just comes from the word credo, which is what would I give my heart to. And part of this is that we ask all the adults who are mentors to these kids to do their own too, and they're always like, wait a minute, I didn't think that was part of the deal here. But they're amazing. And so throughout this church year, we're going to show you and have some of these folks share their credos. And the first one is from Liz Burgess, who's now on the board. And we're going to show a video because she couldn't be here with us this morning. So let us listen to Liz Burgess's credo that she offered last year. And she recorded this week. She teaches in Wellesley, so I think before her kids arrived in the classroom.
I grew up Catholic, like the kind of Catholic that included nuns teaching social studies class and church at the start of my school day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I wore a plaid skirt and had bare legs even when the wind chill was below 0. I've never believed in God, even when I had an altar to Mary in my bedroom and added fresh flowers daily. It was all a show. Or maybe it was an honest attempt to find the kind of meaning people around me seemed to have. I don't know. It never worked for me, though. Decades later, when Arden let me know that she really wanted our children to have a supportive church community, I resisted. I told her that the only church I would go to was one that didn't mention God. I remember the look of resignation on her face. Seriously, Liz? Finally, she went church shopping without me. I don't know which of us was more shocked when she came home one Sunday and told me that she had found a place she thought I would like. I went, not because I believed that I would ever find a church to call home, but because she was trying so darn hard, and I didn't want to disappoint her. I'd never heard of UU, and I did not believe for 1 second that there was any church that existed without talk of God. But you know how this story ends. We've been at UU churches ever since. Growing up, church was about punishment, guilt, and keeping score. Now I understand that it doesn't have to be like that. It can be about finding and giving grace. When I show up here, I feel like I can bring my whole imperfect self. It's come as you are and bring the person you want to be. My two selves are both welcome here. And in fact, church is the place that they get to know each other. So what do I believe? I believe in singing loudly, in hugging strangers, and in shedding tears. I believe in wearing jeans, especially when the wind chill is below 0, cursing, and telling the truth. To me, church is about being still for a moment and taking stock. It's about not pretending anymore.
Isn't that wonderful? So I don't know if Liz isn't here, but of course my sermon title is How the God I Know is Not a Culture Warrior. We'll see. We'll see, Liz. So friends, take a deep breath with me. Breathe in the stillness of this space and the quiet. And breathe out the week, whether that week was at school or home working, if you work from home, or volunteering, caring for someone. Just let yourself be welcomed back to yourself. Bring those two people together. As we remember here in this time of meditation that we are one. And that is why we sing. Let us sing together. We are one.
In the waters, we are one. In the waters, we are one. In the waters, we are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. In the waters, we are one. In the waters, we are one. In the waters, we are one. We are one. We are one. We are one.
Every week we invite prayers from all of us. It's one of those words, the word prayer, that some of us lean into and others of us lean back away from. A reminder that when I say prayer, what I mean is that prayer does not change things necessarily, but prayer changes people so that people can change things. So this from Megan, from my aunt who is fighting her battle with cancer. For Dana, who has tingling on her entire right side and is battling, which is baffling all of the neurologists. For Zarfao, for her and her family's health. Friends, for all of these names, and for all those that I know, many that we hold in our heart, we light a candle. And as Reverend Heather reminded us in our Wonder Box with our beautiful picture of our building there are windows here in this sacred space, reminding us to look out into the world. Here, the sanctuary, not from the world, but for the world. And this prayer also from Megan for Iran and the brave Iranian women. We light for them and for all our prayers for the world a candle. And also, friends, our gratitudes for Susan Roush, she's over there, for Susan, who's celebrating with Hank 29th wedding anniversary today. Congratulations, Susan. And our gratitude also for the flowers given this morning by Cab Rabinowitz for Elizabeth Little, Jane Berry, and Edith Swire. And this morning's welcome team, and everybody who came in and just said good morning to you. And the music today by Sarah and Tim and the whole choir, which I get to be a part of. I'm a little nervous about in a little bit. We all have a gift, everybody. We just get to find places to share it. For all these, we light a candle. Let us pray together. Dear God of our many names and our no names, the spirit of life and loves that moves through us and between us and below us and above us, and the foundation of red and the rainbow walls and the roof. Our Jewish friends, our brothers and sisters tonight celebrate Rosh Hashanah, the time of the new year. It is indeed a time of turning for all of us. Turning seasons, fresh morning beginning yesterday, the leaves turning a new leaf, opening a new possibility, starting a new school year, starting a new job, starting to recommit yourself to a relationship, starting to learn how to be alone. Everyone, all of us are turning, making new commitments, letting go of old ones, starting over, seeing possibilities. This time is a time of beginning, of renewal, of refreshment, of starting over. For all these things and for all these moments of the turning, our prayer is to give ourselves a little bit of forgiveness for the mistakes we've made and a whole lot of courage for the new path. Let us be held in stillness together.
When I was a boy, each week, Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is that everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad that miracles don't happen still. But now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything, everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips. But now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down. But I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come and say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood and saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven second-rate hand-me-down. But I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now.
This week you might have heard the news, but I think it's one of the energy companies, Natural Grid, talked about how much they're going to increase gas prices this winter and electricity. You heard that, right? 60%. I think it's like $100 a month for some people. And so that made me think about all the ways in which people who don't have enough are even needing help even more after this time and during this time. And one of those places that we've contributed to for a long time here in the church community, Barbara Breer has been so involved with, is called A Place to Turn. It's actually in Natick. And they're having a capital campaign to kind of meet the need of these moments. And so today our offering is going to be shared with them. We share our offering with somebody in a different organization every single week. And we're going to see a little video about this work that they're up to. And after that, you'll see a QR code. It's also on the sheets in the pew. And if you have old-fashioned cash, which is still awesome, there's a plate over there, and there's a plate in the back you can contribute to. So, India, let's play that video.
A Place to Turn is an emergency food pantry located in Natick that provides healthy food choices, personal care items, diapers to a diverse population of individuals and families that reside in 20 Metro West cities and towns. Treating our clients with the dignity and respect they deserve lies at the heart of our organization's values. In the past year, we've served over 20,000 people, which is a 30% increase since the pandemic began in 2020. Our pantry building can no longer accommodate the number of clients we serve, and we need help to build an addition and update our current building. In order to serve families safely during the pandemic, we needed to create a completely different approach to distribute the healthy food choices to our clients. We moved our operations outdoors using a farmer's market approach where clients line up outside waiting to be served. We have spent 2 cold New England winters serving our clients in this way, and it is just not sustainable long term. We are launching a capital campaign for A Place to Turn, which will allow us to raise funds to build an addition to our food pantry building and modify our existing building so that we may respectfully, efficiently, and safely invite families back inside our building once again. We need your help to do this. We look forward to reaching out to see if there's a way we can work together to build a healthier community.
Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one is alone, we are side by side. Draw the circle wide.
going to draw the circle wide. I'm going to let all of my anxiety about singing it properly out of that circle. Tim, I called Tim this morning, we were rehearsing, my comfort animal. So friends, as I remind us every week that I have offered these words for us and with us for many years now, saying that here is our world and beautiful and terrible things will happen. So let us keep our eyes soft and our hearts tender and our words true. This is what you and I are about. We know there is no answer but to love each other. We bear witness against destruction. And then we gather here in community to practice being the person that we're trying to be. We cannot do everything, but we can do something. And here in the suburbs especially, that expect us to be so perfect all of the time, we need the reminder that the something that we offer is never nothing. So as Leonard Cohen reminds us, let us ring the bells that still can ring and forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. Say with me, that is how the light gets in. So I first want to give credit to Gary Strickards, who's teaching this morning. First of all, credit to him for teaching, and to all of you who volunteer in all the ways to make this place possible. But Gary, like the middle of the summer, he sent me this New York Times essay written by the Anglican priest Tish Harrison Warren. She's a great writer, and the title of her essay was, the title of the sermon, "The God I Know Is Not a Culture Warrior." And I just loved the title, and I loved the essay, and it has got me thinking. So are you ready? All right. And actually, this past Wednesday, I was there with Reverend Heather and Heather Walker, who's our administrator. He's actually making coffee for us this morning. And I also didn't say thank you to India Wood, who's up behind the screens. India. She's also our youth coordinator. You can tell that all of us who work here, we do work here. We don't volunteer here, just so you know. We do many things, and that's because we love you, we love this place, and we love, maybe most importantly, the mission behind it all. So anyway, we were over there outside of Heather Walker's office chatting, and it's just so good to just connect and talk, not on Zoom, right? So, and Allie, her name is Allie, from the ECDC school, which is the space that we rent to them. They've been here forever. My son went there 19 years ago. Allie comes down to the office, and she says, I was just out on the edge of the driveway, so just like right over there, right like by the exit sign, chatting to some parents after, I think it was like after they dropped the kids off, when this white sedan is coming past this way, all right, going towards the center of town, slows down, the windows are down, and the driver starts screaming at us all of these curse words about the red sign that says reproductive rights or human rights. And then she said to me, or maybe it was the Black Lives Matter sign. And then she said, well, maybe it was both. Allie, I ask, and remember, she's a preschool teacher. Did you curse back? Pause. Pause. Allie? No, I was just like, what the heck? We're just standing there, okay? Like she had like kind of this, like remember Heather, she had like this kind of motion, like we're just standing there, right? Now, this is not Allie's congregation. She's not a Unitarian Universalist. And the school she runs is not our religious school. It's not a religious school. However, they're here because it's a great place to be and because our missions align, which is that we want to surround young ones with love and care and community. That's what they do. That's so much of what we do. Now, in some ways, I just thought of Allie's like, we're just standing there. She was like, I'm just a bystander here. Like that kind of motion. I'm just out on the front lawn talking to parents. But then I started thinking about Allie and sort of all of us and how all of us actually in these times, these angry times, like none of us are really bystanders anymore, are we? Are we? You've heard a lot of us here talk about what it means for us to actually to replace the word bystander with the word upstander. Love that word, upstander. To be upstanders and not bystanders in your life. And that's why we put those signs out front. The Black Lives Matter sign, the reproductive rights sign, to remind other people and you guys to remind ourselves that Unitarian Universalists can't just believe whatever they want to. Or that we're just about the lowest common denominator so as not to offend any of you. Like if you get a little squirrely in the pew because of something you hear, I want to tell you that it's kind of intentional. It's okay to be uncomfortable because when we're uncomfortable, it means something's happening. We're growing. That's what that means. My job is not to keep you happy. It's to help you be at home in yourself. To be an upstander in the world. Now, we put those signs out there because Unitarian Universalists, which is always hard to say, which is why we do an acronym, have a long history of standing for and with reproductive rights. That is true about us. We stand up against racism, especially in these communities, and are to reckon with our own racism, my racism. That's why that's out there. It's not so that we can get more people of color here. It's so that we can all be transformed. That's what this is about. And we also hang the rainbow flag, which has been up there out front since the late 1990s to welcome LGBTQ people. And you know, the origin of that flag was when a resident of Sherborn in the late 90s mailed a homophobic letter to every single resident in town. And this church was the only one, if I could just it's long before many of us were here. This church is the one that stood up and said something about it. That's the origin of that flag. That flag matters so much to people who see it, whether they're here or not, and to some of you and to me, I know that it does. So while we've got all these screaming cars and screaming people go by, though, I know that the temptation is just sometimes just go, shh, like just a step back. But I don't want to be the kind of minister who says religion has no place in politics or the public dialogue. I've heard people say sometimes, that was so political. That was the intention. Because faith, which is the word for trust, faith deserves to have things to say about all of the issues of the day, right? It's not sanctuary from the world, it's sanctuary for the world. You deserve to know what your faith says about gun control, abortion, state rights, separation, quote unquote, separation of church and state. I don't want us to put a lamp or shade over our light. We could have sung that today, Sarah. Let your light shine is what we're saying. Because in a time of screaming cars and screaming people, our opening words that Nora, you read for us, there must be people who stand in faith with grace and freedom and power. Do you know how different that is than yelling at somebody? Stand with grace and freedom and power. Just feel the weight and the rootedness of those words. Here. That's what we say. Are you with me with all of that stuff? It's okay if you're not, but it helps sometimes to see a nod. But here's the thing. When I hear people talk about God and religion, people go, what do you do for work? I'm in, software. the software of the Spirit, and they're like, well, no, seriously, what are you talking about? What do you do for work? I'm a parish minister. And like instantly, talk about a conversation that literally, as Heather knows, like just totally derail the night out. Because people start confessing stuff to you. They stop cursing, which is a total bummer. Because I do, for those who know me outside of the pulpit, I mean, I do like a curse word here or there. Anyway, I'm already off, I'm way off script. This is why, by the way, this is why they moved RE to 11:45. It's because of me. But anyway, when I hear about people talk about God and religion in the world, and it's all over the news, right? And some of you send me the things that you read, like, look what this terrible thing, this terrible preacher did, this terrible clergy, this terrible church. And this is what the Tish writes about so beautifully in her essay. What I know is that people's experiences, my experience, your experience, of what it means to nourish your soul in a time and in a culture that seems to conspire against us to do that. It conspires against us. I don't hear any talk of the religious and spiritual values that I know to be true when everybody's ranting about things like forgiveness and kindness and gratitude and humility and trust and grace and awe. All that stuff gets completely lost, doesn't it? And what happens is that the God and religion, they just become another pawn in another stupid, like, media fight, another means to a political end, another meme that's going to own the libs or the conservatives, or an accessory like a power tie. For those who like to wear a tie and join me on Sundays wearing a tie, I welcome that. Or actually, more likely, the reason when you see all that stuff is that you just forget, like you think religion and church is just like, it is past tense. I'm done with that. Sort of like what Liz was talking about in her credo. I don't want to go to a place that's going to be aligned in any way with the terrible stuff that I've heard. And you guys, it just frustrates me so much. I am tired of apologizing for churches and religions that I don't believe in or belong to. Sometimes you guys ask me to apologize. It's true. Don't say words that are going to press my buttons. That's a way like asking me to not be whole. So I've been thinking a lot about this over the summer. Can you tell I've been thinking about this over the summer? This is what happens when you give us some time off. I think that we need to retreat a little bit from the larger debates of politics and theology, and I think we need to preserve the honest, tender heart of faith in our life. This, and I want you to imagine like this, it's a cup of faith. It's like the littlest, like most fragile teacup of faith that is your heart. My heart feels like that part of me is a fragile thing. I've got a sometimes fragile cup of a heart. I bet you do too. If you let all the protection and the armor that we have to put on to move through this world, if you just let it fall away, hopefully you can do that in here, you can notice that cup of heart, this fragile cup of heart. And one thing that never gets any press, that I hope you will testify to, that it never gets a headline, is how here in places like this, we try to hold your cup of heart. What does that look like? What does it even mean? We hold hope when you can't hold it. We help you hold loss. We help you hold your doubt. We hold your hunger. We hold and bless new babies. We bless your new partnerships. And that's because all of us, and I don't care whether you think you're churchy or not, whatever that means, we are meant for community and not isolation. We are meant for hope and meaning and not cynicism. We are meant for other people and not ourselves. That's like when you're doing stuff for yourself, you just kind of like, there's a little bit of like, this feels nice. And then after a little while, you just feel like, how you feel when you like serve something larger than yourself? Like just how life-giving that can be? How life-giving that is? I'm going to mix metaphors, but this is why our hearts and our bodies and our souls don't have bootstraps on them. Because it's an American lie that we can pull ourselves up by ourselves. It is a lie. And here, and at least in this church, we all deserve to hear the truth. Okay. Can we go to like 12:30? There's ice cream melting. There's falafels happening. There's ice cream. This is why you're all staying. So what does it mean for me to tell you that the God that I know is not a culture warrior? And when I say that word God, I want you to remember that God is not God's name. And when you tell me you don't believe in God, there's a very good chance that I don't believe in that God either. There's nothing, I love conversations when someone says to me, I don't believe in God, and I legitimately want to hear you describe for me, tell me about the God you don't believe in. Like, describe that thing for me, because I really am curious to know. So my favorite writer in the world, Frederick Buechner, he died this summer after a very long life. Those first lines I share with us every week are his, where here is the world, beautiful and terrible things will happen. Keep our eyes soft. Those are his words. Ordained minister. He once wrote that if there is indeed a God, and if indeed that God is concerned at all with the world, one of the ways that God probably speaks to us, and one of the most powerful ways, is through what happens to us. Buechner says, pay attention, I want you to listen, pay attention to the moments when unexpected tears come to your eyes. And my favorite line, he says, we are pointed toward the holy by a lump in the throat. Isn't that beautiful? We're pointed toward the holy by a lump in the throat. So I want to ask you, when did you last cry? When did you last feel like that whomp of like that? You saw something, you just like, it's right there, right? I was at the top of Pegan Hill in South Natick on Friday night on a ride with a friend that I hadn't seen in too long. And Friday night, like there's the wind, and up there, if you've been up there, it's just the most beautiful place. You'd think you're like in the middle of Vermont, and it's South Natick. It was right there. Fresh, alive, like light, sunlight, sunset, sacred there. But also here with you. It is often here with you. I'm going to keep saying this. It's my 20th year with you guys. Often here in this space in particular, we who have various reactions to God language, because all of us have different experiences, in this space, I get a lump in the throat. We have to believe in something, I think. Because in these fraught times, like, we have to conspire with life to believe in something. In a world that conspires against us, I want to, like Barbara Kingsolver says, I want to conspire with the color red and the caterpillar and the sunlight. The world tempts us with despair. It lures us with cynicism. And when I get a lump of the throat here, what you all remind me of and remind me to do is that the power of this place is the power of the bootstrap of collective community. I'm a raging introvert, and I can say that. The last thing I want to tell you is that, I had not been in this space, this is the year anniversary, right, of us being back here in this space this month. Is that ever since then, every single service, I can hardly make it through an hour without a lump in the throat or just like probably just like hiding. If I'm hiding, that's what I'm doing behind the pulpit. What is that about? The pandemic and not being here with you was so hard personally and professionally. For me, let me just bucket them on myself now. What is that about? And I think what that is about is that this is holy ground. This space, stamp the floor, you can feel it. This place, this church, built on land that long before we were here, the land of the praying Indians of Natick and the Wampanoag and the Nipmuc tribe and the Ponkapoag, who we owe them recompense. They made this land sacred. Then our forebears built the first church here on this spot in 1685. And then this space where you're sitting, 1826, in this space. This is holy ground through generations of time. You are here in this space where people said, this space is sacred. Reminding us that we are meant for community and not isolation. I need to finish because it is over. We're like over time, but I just want to, you can tell, like whatever. Whatever. Testify, you guys, to the power of religion and community that is below and beneath the headlines. Step back from the debate for a moment. While you know you need to upstand in other moments, step back enough to say, what happens here in this space deserves a headline and deserves, I believe, to be read out loudly and exuberantly and sung into the world. That, I believe, that is my credo, and that is my amen. How much time do we have to sing? Because it's like 11:45. Let's do it. All right. Let's rise and bow to your spirit. Come and go with me. Justice in that land where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound. There'll be sin. Friends, let us say together our call to ministry. These and this, our religion lived out into the world, onto Route 16 and beyond. We go forth into the world in peace, to act with works of love, to affirm each person's dignity, and to cherish the living earth. Love to all of you.